And when you calibrate your nervous system, you then start to embody wisdom. Because you can't embody wisdom when you're in fight or flight.
These virtues come from a balanced nervous system.
Right. And everything in our society is architecturally managed in order to make us in fight or flight. Right.
And this will perpetuate unless we humans wake up, stop taking sides, take back our power, take back our humanity, level up. That's the message of this show. That's the message of people that consider themselves light bearers.
Unless we start to embody love and peace and understanding, it's not going to change the frequency, and the frequency is not going to change the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is not going to change the masses.
Life is an algorithm. And here we are.
We're back.
Here we are. The Fadaies are here. We're rolling. And we have a lot to talk about, a lot of juicy stuff.
Yeah.
So we started this podcast, and do we have material to work with right now?
This week has been eventful, to say the least.
And, you know, being Iranian born, Iran is now the latest clicks, right? On social media. I mean, everywhere. That is interesting how that's overshadowed the Epstein stuff all of a sudden. That's no longer the hot
I
topic.
think this is a multi-layered chessboard. It's not just Epstein. It's all the things all at once, on purpose.
I would say so. And you can't be called a conspiracy theorist. You can, but that's lost weight.
Because most of them have proven to be true.
Most of them have been proven to be true.
Yeah.
And how do we know?
I hate to laugh, but I mean, it's...
How do we know? Because they're trying to avoid it at all costs. That indirectly gives it credence. See? So let's get on with this war, because we got to bury it. It's the same playbook, people. Why do I talk about building your nervous system? Because I know this sounds abstract to you. What does that have to do with anything? Your nervous system helps you from being duped by the system. Your nervous system, when developed, causes you to have more intuition. It causes you to be proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah.
It causes you to stop, sit, identify this setback maybe occurring in your life right now is just a catalyst. It's by design. We're here to grow up, to lower our entropy, to have more order. How do we accomplish more order? By being responsive, responsible.
Not reactive.
Not reactive. Not escape and then label and then perpetuate that cycle.
Right.
It's a catalyst. Let's sit down, find the grace. There's something positive of what that negative brought about.
Right. And when you calibrate your nervous system, you then start to embody wisdom. Because you can't embody wisdom when you're in fight or flight.
No.
You can't. You have to have some sort of perspective, outside perspective, and not be involved in the nitty gritty or the details of what's going on, because then you don't have that purview to be able to embody the wisdom that's necessary to make a responsible decision instead of a reactive decision.
A better decision, a more life-supportive decision.
Wisdom.
The nervous system helps you develop wisdom that you can execute.
Right.
What's an example of that? Delayed gratification is one of them. That's one of them.
Self-control.
Self-control.
Comes back to that.
We're just reiterating from the last episodes the distillation of that today. A little bit of that. These things are, these virtues come from a balanced nervous system.
Right. And everything in our society is kind of architecturally managed in order to make us in fight or flight, right?
Yes.
In order for us to live in fear and be dependent upon some other, governmental body or person or figure because it takes the power away from us.
Right. Because that product was engineered
Right.
for the reactive person to make that purchase. So in other words, what we're saying is they can control the masses more.
Right. Mass psychosis.
Mass psychosis.
Look up the definition.
And when others in the mass psychosis see others in the mass psychosis,
Yeah.
that's mass formation.
Right.
So we're saying
Which is exactly how Iran fell in the first place
exactly.
in 1979.
Exactly. 1979, the Iranians of the time, they wanted the Shah out because he was a shill. And they knew that. They knew that from the time of Mossadegh. Mossadegh was a actual democratically elected leader.
Yeah.
What is a true democratic leader supposed to do? They're supposed to work for the people,
Yeah.
govern that country for the benefit of Iran. So he did that. Well, the power players didn't like that. Britain
Yeah.
didn't want Mossadegh to nationalize the Iranian oil fields.
Oil, I was going to say, yeah.
Follow the money, right? So there was a coup d'etat. Now, this is not conspiracy theory. You can just go ahead and look
This
that
is
up.
Facts.
This is Wikipedia, not
The
even.
CIA admitted it 40 years later.
So they ousted him, and they planted the Shah. The Shah's the Pahlavi regime, the Pahlavi system. The late son, later in the 70s, started to wake up. He started to defect.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Reza Pahlavi, the last Shah. In an interview with Wallace,
That was an amazing interview.
it's all over YouTube, he started talking about stuff that he wasn't supposed to talk about. He got out of character. As soon as that happened, he was removed.
Yeah.
So these are the facts that then ushered in 47 years of the Ayatollah regime.
Right. But to backtrack to the mass psychosis, what had happened is that they were fed, the Iranian people were becoming disenfranchised with the Shah because of, the tightening of power and what was going on in the Middle East at the time. And then they were fed this narrative that we need morals, we need principles, we need belief. We need to bring back the Iran of our ancestors. That's what they were fed. But what they were given was a totally different thing. And so the mass psychosis that happened following 1979, which you would know more of than me, but was built on fear. Well, if I don't join the regime, then what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? Because it was mass chaos, right? And so it's either fall in line or many left, right? So that's what happened during that time in 1979 in Iran. And so we see it playing over and over again in society.
So one system replaced another system, and here we are again. And this will perpetuate unless we humans wake up, stop taking sides, take back our power, take back our humanity, level up. That's the message of this show. That's the message of people that consider themselves light bearers.
Yeah.
Right?
And I hope that for the Iranian people, I really do, with what's happening right now.
In my approach, I guess, a lot of us want the same thing. A lot of people want peace and we're congruent. It's the way about it that differs. In Iran, you have this thing called hamdardi, which is a cultural, I would say, in some cases, in this case, it would be a flaw in that well, we're going to go protest because we feel bad for our Iranian brothers and sisters. I can see the compassion to that. Mm-hmm. But that's unfortunately feeding and perpetuating that fear-based system.
Right.
So this is the crux of it that needs conversation.
Well, and a lot of what's happened in the past also is when people rise up and they have a cause, that cause gets hijacked by some other party that wants to do what they're planning to do, right? And so that's the concern, is that the Iranian people want their freedom, they want their family back, they want to be able to see and love their family, which I understand, but there's also that kind of slight fear of, is this movement going to be hijacked by some other power that be that wants something else?
That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, that's the playbook.
I hope not.
Well, that's the playbook. Hoping is great. We hope. But what actionable, executable actions can we take? Or what can we promote in society?
Yeah.
And so for us, I mean, it goes back to nervous system. It goes back to nervous system because nervous system helps us sit with the medicine, sit with the with the issue. Let's find meaning. Let's find meaning. Let's not jump to condemn or judge. Let's find meaning, and then use critical thinking. And then when we do that, we have grace, and the heart opens up. When we have that, we can resolve conflict. We can realize that those folks, whoever the opposite side is, based on their belief system, they're making those decisions based on what they believe to be moral and
the
righteous.
Right thing, yeah.
Yeah. If we can't try to sit and look at things from their perspective, we're sabotaging peace. That's bottom line. If the U.S. really wanted peace, then the diplomats are there to prevent war. We shouldn't have war. Why on this beautiful, green, gorgeous earth, we have so many resources.
Yeah.
But we're so carnal.
Because we're still in a scarcity mindset.
That's right.
And until we break out of scarcity mindset, it's going to be that way.
Okay. And
like
so,
there's not enough food for everyone, or there's not enough fuel for everyone. There's not enough electricity, or whatever the commodity is, whatever the resource is, that's the massive mindset.
And that's why in the first couple of episodes, I talked about this because there's different layers.
Yeah.
The most transcendental layer of it is the prevailing thought of science, which is still hinged on materialism. Materialism is scarcity.
Yeah.
It's the idea that things are running out.
Well, again, that's outsourcing power to something else.
That's right.
Someone else or something else.
That's right.
So then you have to bring it back.
And when you probe into nature, you don't find matter. When you probe into matter, you don't find matter. You find information.
The double slit experiment.
You find probabilities. We talked about this. So that tells us that that's a deeper knowledge. We already know that, but it's not the prevailing thought.
No.
Which is causing humans to not sit down and resolve conflict, because the mentality is still fight, flight, scarcity. It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Well, and that's what we're creating.
Exactly.
Because that's what we're embodying.
Exactly.
So unless we start to embody love and peace and understanding, it's not going to change the frequency, and the frequency is not going to change the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is not going to change the masses.
Life is an algorithm.
Yeah.
If we start focusing on what we are, which is the elements the attributes you just spoke about, that's what we are. It's not something outside of us. It is what we are. We are peace. We are love. We are joy. We are bliss. That's what it turns out to be. How do I know that? Because I've gone within for over 25 years. Imagine going within. What does that mean? Imagine meditating for 25 years in modern society. You'll learn a few things.
I'm sure.
And what you learn is a direct experience of the peace that surpasses understanding. Yeah. Once you experience that, and that's not an impulsive move, it takes delayed gratification. You're not going to get instant results with meditation. You can take a psychedelic and get some instant results. Problem with that is it's not sustainable.
Integration is key there. You can know truth, but do you embody it?
Psychedelics has a place.
Yeah.
But it's like a rocket launcher. It needs to be discarded at some point. If you don't integrate in that period of time, then you get diminishing returns because the drug, psychedelics are drugs, the drug loses its effect. I've done psychedelics many times over and integrated, and it got me into stabilizing my meditation practice years ago. And now I don't even remotely desire to do any of it. Why? Because I stabilized the organic connection, and it's 100 times more potent than taking something from the outside.
Yeah.
Now, you might not believe me, but pretend it's true. Pretend what I'm saying is in fact correct. Would that be a superpower?
Definitely.
Definitely. And don't take my word for it. I learned later that all the literature that I read about this phenomenon, I experienced it. So it's not just me saying it. It's in literature. It's in many, Francis of Assisi and many of the different mystics who were esoteric talk about this.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's Rumi, whether it's, many of the great masters talk about this.
Yeah.
Being drunk.
All
with
of the
this
church
love.
fathers. Yeah. Yeah.
That's available. And that is the nervous system nurturing. That stabilization is when the nervous system is able to hold that frequency, that reality of bliss and love, which is always there, but our instrument is not able to experience it because the nervous system is not prepared yet.
Well, and I think part of it is that we come into this world with that nervous system as children, as infants. And I think that's why we are so fascinated by infants and children, is because they have this awe-inspiring innocence. And they're like that. So when I think of that peace that surpasses understanding, or returning home, or however you want to say it, that stabilization, I think of all of those moments as a child when I would directly connect with God and there was no other intermediary. It's almost like you're returning back to what you already knew from childhood, before anyone ever indoctrinated you or taught you or persuaded you or whatever it was, before you learned fight or flight. That's that core of your being, of who you really are. So it's returning back to that essence, so to speak.
Returning back to it and then stabilizing it, having it become consistent. That's the challenge. And that takes discipline. You see? Not just glimpses. Glimpses are not enough. Once in a while. The truth is, it can be a living reality daily. And here's the good news. It continues to ascend, grow. It continues to develop this experience of unity and love. which is consciousness, higher states of consciousness. It's a really beautiful thing. And it's available to anybody who is knocking and searching more. It's really not exclusive. It's just a matter of how bad do you want it? How, the earnest desire, the earnest want of self-realization, enlightenment, is the predictor of whether or not you can develop this experience, this consciousness. It comes down to that. Taking shortcuts has diminishing returns unless intentionally you're doing that to then come off of those drugs, should that have been something you tried, and then integrate that into reality. And so that's kind of been, my take on psychedelics.
Yeah.
They are definitely valuable aids, allies, if properly administered, if properly utilized. They can open up the heart in tremendous ways like never before. Mm-hmm. But there's also a slippery slope with that.
You can't become dependent on it.
And often people do.
Yeah.
Because they're not integrating. And integrating means you go in, you learn something because you've come out of the five senses. There's a message or a revelation in that sort of trip, and then you retain that. It's an aha moment that you get that you would not have otherwise gotten because you were clogged up. The psychedelics temporarily opened you up. That revelation, then you take that. Then when you're awake and sober, waking consciousness, you begin to actually apply that to life and see changes. That's what I mean by integration.
Can you give an example? Because you've had some amazing experiences.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where you literally become blinded because you're so engrossed in some material thing. Usually has to do with money. So you're looking to make a lot of money. You don't even know why, because you want things, but you don't question why you want those things. So it's cloudy, it's murky. So you're in this sort of rat race path, and you're blinded by the people that love you and that need more of heart-centeredness. So, as you know, taking some mushrooms, psychedelics, could, and it has for me, completely open up your eyes to see, oh, your daughter needs this, and this is what's going on. And it causes your heart to open up where it was closed before, right?
Because your focus was elsewhere.
Your focus was elsewhere. You're not balanced. You're engrossed in materialism.
Yeah.
And that could take years for you to figure out. Where here, a psychedelic can come in quickly and open that up.
Cause like an epiphany to happen.
Yeah. And an awakening. The key now is take that and integrate that where you don't now exercise more.
Yeah.
Meditate more. Do things so you're proactive so you can stay balanced. And then that balancing stabilization act then will flow over into every part of your life. And that's the, being connected to the vine.
Yeah.
Being connected to the vine is what we're talking about here. If you can connect to the vine, keep the connection, strengthen the connection, then the fruit will come out, and that fruit is benevolence. And that could lead you to creating a podcast where we can talk about unconditional love and forgiveness. That's what, this is the fruit of that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of voices on the internet today focused on dualism, the picking of the sides. And, here we've concentrated a lot of effort in talking about transcending dualism, realizing that we're not separate. Those are some of the things that happen when you do this meditation work and you realize that you love yourself, and love is unity. And you realize that there isn't separation. It's just diverse expressions of the same that's allowed here in this earth plane for us to have very poignant ways to choose love through free will. It's the purpose of our life. From that perspective, what we used to call evil are merely catalysts.
It's a teacher.
They're teachers. So let's everybody chill out, is what we're saying. Let's chill out. And meditation and aesthetic practice helps you chill out. And you sit with that pain, the teacher. Pain is a teacher.
Yeah.
And then you try to find meaning. And when you find meaning, you resolve conflict. You diffuse, you depolarize.
Yeah.
And you come to the equanimity that we talked about last week.
Yeah. And did you want to talk about physicality and working out like we discussed?
Sure.
Yeah. So we had a discussion this week, and we were talking about how the body is a temple. We've talked about this before on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And about how most people don't realize that not only is it a temple, but it is it's a spiritual practice. So that as you begin to utilize the body that you were given on this planet, that you begin to stabilize that frequency of love for yourself. And I've learned this a lot from you, because I was never that person that was, going to the gym or those things. But I've realized over the last year and a half, 2 years, that exercise and working out and taking care of your body really just allows you to dismantle all the lies that you told yourself about yourself. That I can't do this because of this, or whatever it is. And so for me, it's become a hugely powerful spiritual practice, so that I can really dig deeper and realize the true potentiality of who I am in that space. And so it's just been a super, super powerful thing. And I'm sure you could add to that as well, because you are very active in that space.
Beautiful. The way spiritual practice works is inherently the way you said it, is that you start with one thing.
Yeah.
You start 25 years ago with, practicing silent meditation, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. But you soon discover 5 years later, a few years later, 5, 10, 20 years later, as you progress and you maintain the practice, you begin to stack.
Yeah.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nature, universe, God, spirit gives you more modalities to work out other distortions. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you find that your meditation is great. You do that at a certain time, but now you added another layer, which is physical exercise. And then in the physical exercise, there's pain, but with that pain, you also have contemplative moments.
So true.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you reflect on something. Because the breath is deeper.
Yeah.
It comes down to breath. One of the things that the Vedic tradition teaches is the mind controls the body, but the breath controls the mind. So what you find, and this is what's missing in the exoteric Western systems of faith and religion, is the physicality of it.
Yes.
The spiritual practice of it is less dominant, right?
Which is unfortunate because there's so much gold to be had in that practice.
You accelerate your evolution on Earth. Basically, that's what it is. You accelerate your evolution because it works in tandem.
And you learn how to really love yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing that I've learned is how do I really love myself? You really have to, there's so much self-reflection when you're, trying to hold that plank for a couple minutes, or you're doing those things that you told yourself that you would never be able to do because you thought you couldn't, but then you're doing them. So you're like, wait a minute, I'm so much more capable than I ever thought possible. And then you push that limit, you push that limit, you push that limit. And then you realize all these lies that you've been telling yourself about your limitations. And you just keep pushing the boundaries of what you never knew you could do.
The breath allows the letting go.
Yes.
The letting go of these false expectations and limitations and distortions that we cling on to. When you engineer pain through exercise, meditation, you breathe that out. Let go. And when you let go, you have awareness of the truth. And that's liberating. That's it.
Yes.
And that is how you develop your nervous system. But you do that in preparation for when an event like World War III is about to happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you can then contribute to the discussion on YouTube with a vibrational resonance that is of that very truth that you've stabilized. This is what we're depositing, investing into the conversation to say that this is not just cliche. This is, if our intention is correct, we want to be like Christ, then we have carte blanche. It's just a matter of, do you want it or not?
Yeah.
And are you willing to, it's a matter of the heart.
Yeah.
It's a matter of the heart. If you love life, truth, and you want to embody, it's available to us. But you got to get after it. There is, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So it's about being intentional in your day to day.
Yes.
And the only way to do that is to have a nervous system that's dialed in, if you will.
Calibrated.
Yeah. Where you have access to higher data that then you can execute with free will on the earth plane, which is planting a seed, which then gives you a return. And that return is tenfold because it helps society. And then we alter the collective consciousness of humanity that way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that your efforts in this aren't enough. Don't think that's a flaw.
Because we're all connected.
We're all connected, and light has a different value because it can extinguish many units of darkness.
Yes.
See, this is another flaw or a distortion that's propagated perhaps by the forces of non-life.
Yeah.
They can exist so long as we don't discuss this very poignant subject, that your individual realization efforts have tremendous sway.
Exponential.
On altering, yes.
Exponential. Yeah, because I think people don't realize that every life that you touch, every vibration that you come in contact with, there's a ripple effect. It's the butterfly effect. It completely transforms everyone around you and everyone that you do life with. And I think people give the devil or Satan or whoever more credit than he's due because of fear, false evidence appearing to be real. And a lot of this stuff is really just stuff that we make up in our mind, and we give so much credit to the darkness, and yet we are beings of light. So that's something I've been contemplating lately.
That's it. That credit is what we talked about last week. It's you're investing your attention and intention into what? Fear. That's what you're doing inadvertently.
Well, and it's easy to do because everywhere you look on media is negative, 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 negative.
That's mass formation.
Yes.
And so we're looking to break out of that matrix with these discussions, and to tell you that it totally is possible to do that. You can live in a completely different frequency,
different paradigm altogether,
while being here on Earth. I am in the world, but not of it. Is what comes to me right now. Okay, I'm in the world, but not of it. That's what this is. Now you stabilize that kingdom frequency, and life's gonna render that algorithm. So what comes up in life? Blessings, beauty, glory. There's just, it's heaven on earth. You can create heaven on earth. And so we cultivate that more and more. And we do that in every facet of our life. And the aggregation of that has a huge effect. And you start practicing unconditional love. It's a practice. You have maybe escaped Egypt, but Egypt has not escaped you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a purification process, but you practice it and you make gains, just like you would go to the gym. So the person that's locked into some heinous situation right now, like the Epstein class, everybody wants to condemn them and bash them and, send them to hell. That's ordinary. That's just reaction. We're expected to bring forth a higher truth. That's the aim of this conversation, and that's the aim of light bearers. We're held to a higher responsibility. To whom much is given, much is required. We're talking about that. We're not jumping on some theological bandwagon that everybody else. You have to question. You have to question. You have to press. You have to knock. You have to seek.
Right.
He wants to come have supper with you. Again, from Revelation metaphors, but that person who is locked into that crime can't find a way out. They're saying, thank God there's conversations like this today. If I was that person thinking, well, the whole world condemns me. They don't know my story.
Right.
But thank God there are light bearers who can develop equanimity and hold me in that light. You see, this is how we unravel these deeper concentrated distortions that we have created by free will on earth.
Well, and that's how we come to the embodiment of full wisdom. Until we really develop that nature and that nervous system and that knowledge of God, source, whatever you want to call him. He existed before all religions, by the way. So whatever you want to call him, it doesn't matter. He was there. He, she. But once we embody that, that's the beauty. That's the process. That's what we get to go to that place, to have that journey. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, because once you make gains, you become a witness. once you become a witness of higher states of consciousness, then that you are now on this momentum to develop more of that. So you continue to discard distortions, continue to invite catalysts as opportunities to grow more.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're becoming detached. You're not clinging. And another thing that's happening for me is that I have less desires. I don't have, I have a goal of creating 1,000 locations for Fadaie franchise by 2030, but I'm not attached to it. It's a lofty goal. It's on my heart. I'm enthusiastic about doing it because it's fun and challenging, but I'm not attached to it. That is a very important point to double click in. This is where a lot of us have, we want to leverage the law of manifestation, law of attraction.
Yeah.
But secretly we're clinging onto some expected
an outcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's inauthentic. That's manipulation. And what you're going to get there is the very thing that you're putting out.
Right. Energetically.
Energetically.
Yeah.
So.
But what if there was an even better outcome? That's why not being attached is the best.
That's it.
Because when you let go of the attachment to the outcome, God gives you more.
Well, He
gives you what's perfect.
And you're in the flow now.
Yeah.
What are you signaling? You're signaling, I'm already okay.
Yeah.
I'm already blessed. I'm good. I'm good. That genuine declaration of gratitude puts you into the flow state.
Yes.
And you can't make that up. Don't try to make that up in order to get what you want. That's manipulation again.
Yeah.
Don't try to manufacture that. Actually work on your nervous system. Actually begin working on the fundamentals of self-realization, forgiveness, and do the work, do the integration. Come to a place where you don't have those, you become desireless is what I'm trying to say.
Right. And then when God presents you with an opportunity,
you're prepared for it.
You can pivot at a moment's notice.
Quickly.
Because you know that you're completely settled in gratitude and love and forgiveness. And then if God says, hey, I want you to move here or do this, then you're like, all right, let's go.
Let's go. There's no indecisiveness.
Because you're not attached to the outcome.
You're not attached to the outcome.
And the other outcome in which you were open to is better than you even thought in the first place.
Totally.
You couldn't even have dreamed it.
Couldn't have. Now you're tapping into that higher data stream that I keep talking about.
Right, which is why being detached from things like Iran and the Epstein files and all the things that are, albeit atrocious, it's when God calls you to do something about those things is when you take action. But if you're not being called to that specific thing to take action, that's not where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
So you need to be centered and in your coherent space with the divine so that you understand this is the part that I play as the human that I am in this very moment to push the kingdom of light forward. This is the part that God has me in, where I'm at with my family, with my kids, with my business, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. Not doing something out of guilt, fear, or shame because I feel for my family or I feel for my people. That, not to say that that's not a thing. It's not that I'm not sad about this situation. I am. But where does the power lie? Where does my contribution lie to the greater good?
Bring back your investment to the now. Divest from the liabilities of distortion.
Yeah.
Invest in the asset of the kingdom, the true self, which is one and unified with the Alpha, the Omega, the master of the universe. We are one and aligned with that. Divest. It's not escapism. This is somebody listening in saying, shouldn't I be concerned? This and that. This is the area we have to kind of illuminate.
Yeah.
It's not escapism. It's actually, on the contrary, it's pure responsibility. This is responsibility. Just picking a side, that's not responsibility. That's just mass formation. That's just, you're just being, you mean well, but you're not sitting and being proactive with your energy. What can you do to affect change? That's kind of what we're...
Follow your calling. Because here's the thing, if you're following a side, you think that you're doing something, which is why you do it in the first place. You're taking a side because you're thinking, okay, I got to do something for my family, my brother, my sister, whoever. I got to take a stand, because if I don't take a stand, no one else will. This is kind of some of the mentality that people think. But the reality is, if that's not your calling, if that's not where God placed you, that's not going to be helping. Because if you're distracted in that situation, and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing because you're so pre-consumed with this over here, how are you, when the time comes, going to be able to help in a way that is so needed? Because you were distracted before, right? So I think of it this way, like for me, where we are in our current trajectory, I think of it this way. We're focusing on where we're supposed to be with our family, with our business. And we're focusing on the core of our mission, and which is to bring love, light, forgiveness to others. That is where the power lies. And if we're distracted on other things, which is easy to do because it's family, then we're not pushing forward what God's called us to do.
And an undeveloped nervous system.
Yeah.
Many are called, few are chosen.
Yeah.
Okay? Few are chosen because they weren't prepared.
Because few choose.
Because few choose. Good. Many are called, few are chosen, because those few are the only ones that chose. It's a choice, friends. We choose to be ready. And if we are, during certain special times, we will be utilized for greatness to be expressed.
Right.
And I think that's the time we're in right now.
Well, it's kind of like, if you want to use a metaphor, it's kind of like, if you're a soccer player, an athlete, you're training for a specific position, right? And your position is a part of a whole, let's say 11 players, for example. If you are training for your position, you have to be really good at your position, not at someone else's. If you're defense, why are you playing offense? So that's the issue, is if you're distracted by playing offense when you should be doing defense and training for that and preparing for that, you're not going to be of good use to your team.
No, because you're increasing entropy, disorder. Lowering entropy means, oh, I accept.
Right.
This is my position. Where I'm planted, I'm going to shine. I'm going to grow.
Yes.
I'm going to get better. And I'm going to affect the whole. That's low entropy. That's what we want. That comes when our nervous system is signaling and resonating and aligned. So, why do we want to do all that? Why do we even want to do all that? What's the purpose of that? Because I would say that is the purpose of life, to find meaning. There is an incentive for it. That incentive is love. There's an incentive for it. To get to love is the incentive. I don't even think angels have the opportunity to do what we have here. That's what's special about humans. We are heralded and highly respected for souls to come and incarnate on earth, go through the baby, the infant stage, and adolescence, and teenage, and then become adults, and go through life with its many catalyst challenges, and then overcome. That's a very commendable in the, universe, if you will. It's very challenging. It's very hard to do that. It's hard work. But for those who overcome, there is a special place, and you get to really accelerate your position in the universe, not just on Earth.
Yeah.
But the learning, the what you gain here stays with your soul. That's why in a lot of these NDEs, another silver lining that comes from these near-death experiences that we listen to nowadays, which there's a plethora of them now, and they all have a common theme. Thank goodness to YouTube and people expressing it. But what most people, one of those nuggets is, they're astounded as to, I was still me. I still had the same, you see?
Because they identify with the body, and then they don't realize that they're not the body.
We are consciousness.
Yeah.
We are consciousness. That never changes. The content of our experiences change. That's always changing. What is the one thing that never changes is our awareness of the content.
The observer.
Right. That's what we mean when we say we are consciousness. We are one. That observer is unchanging. So when we transition into a near-death experience, a lot of the people that report their stories talk about, I was still that awareness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it gives credence to that. So that's really powerful. But let's pivot into a little bit about insurance. Where are we today? What are we doing? How's it going with our goals, the industry itself? I mean, look, I'll just start here. Right now, Iran was attacked by the U.S. and Israel. This war has been talked about since the Bush days, even before. It's supposed to be the mother of all wars. World War III. They took out the Ayatollah Khamenei just the other day. Without weighing in and taking sides, how is it affecting insurance? Well, insurance doesn't go away. So for the person listening in who are, you're interested in investing, making your investment work for you, which is what wealthy people do. Money makes money, so you're an investor. Insurance is stable. And nobody is going to cancel their policy tomorrow, which means your relationship with that client, which has a policy involved, we service that client, and the commissions keep coming in. So just another element of why insurance is stable and why you should consider investing in an insurance practice. We're here to make that insurance practice investment highly investable and profitable. That's our offer. Our offer is that we're insurance experts, but continuously practicing the business in the retail broker space. And the Fadaie franchise is a pathway for somebody to invest and develop wealth. And you could do that on a very small scale, or you could do it on a very large scale. The numbers, you can't argue with math. It always works. And this war that's happening, which could take weeks, months, could take 20 years. I mean, Afghanistan was 20 years. Iraq was 20, a long time, many years. We didn't accomplish much there as far as the USA, which history proves. But insurance never went away.
No.
It kept going.
In fact, we just added more kinds of insurance during that time.
Precisely. So in real time, 2026, we're in March now, early March. We can report to you that we're growing, we're selling policies. As an investor looking in, we realize this is not something that your financial advisor will talk about because it's such a rarity. You're mostly being taught to invest in the stock market and real estate. Those are common. This is a special investment class that it takes a specialist to help the investor get into it and profit from it. That's essentially our function, is to make that trend, that investment of yours highly profitable.
Yes.
So what are we doing? Right now, we are getting our team. They gave us a bunch of testimonials about how much they love working with Fadaie. We have 20 years of experience as a retail insurance brokerage. So if you're looking to come in, understand we're not a new company. We've been doing this. That should be important for you because you're looking for safety. You're looking for, how do I get an ROI on my investment? So this is very helpful for you to know this is not our first rodeo. We've been doing this for a long time. We have proof of concept.
Yeah.
Those people that experienced this success with us, they all gave us video testimonials. We'll be sending those out to showcase for you, the potential investor, that it's not just us saying it. We have developed a culture as a result of self-realization and nervous system. And that's what it takes. If you're an agent right now and you're stuck at $1 million and your book size is like $1 million or a few million or whatever, you're stuck somewhere. That's supposed to happen. The person, the agent with the nervous system can look at that stuckness and celebrate. Say, oh, good.
Yeah. Opportunity.
Yes. We've done that many times over.
Yes.
Because of because of the esoteric practice and our intentional nervous system development. And then, we've overcome it, more and more. And we've developed this Fadaie franchise. So you coming in, you get to glean from that through osmosis because you're joining a team. That's the beauty of a franchise. You're a franchise is like a psychedelic. It's a shortcut.
Yeah, it is.
But that's a beautiful metaphor. Fadaie franchise is like a psychedelic. It is, because you're getting the acceleration benefits, opens up. You're immediately coming in and getting all the benefits of the 7 pillars. And then we teach you how to integrate that so that it becomes an embodiment for you. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful segue from psychedelic, because that's what it is. It's an accelerated way of growing up. And you'll see with our Excel sheet, by the way, if you want to see this Excel sheet, our CFO created, it shows the numbers. A lot of you are numbers. You want to see evidence. We can prove to you, and we'll do that in one of our next episodes where we can actually speak over the Excel sheet and demonstrate how your investment develops over 10 years. That's the sexiest part of insurance.
Compounding.
Compounding because of residual income, 10% attrition, that's normal, 90% retention, stable industry because you can't part with it, recession proof, pure flexibility. So this podcast is about articulating that. A lot of people don't believe it. So our job right now is to make that a knowing through direct experience. So if you're getting this, if you're watching this and you're interested, reach out. We'll show you on Excel how that works. You can even come in and check out our agency on Zoom. We'll give you a tour. So you can see how we do what we do, why we do it, when we do it. You get to see the dojo. The dojo is where we practice the business. This is not, you don't go to school for this. The real school is the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
You come into the dojo and we send you leads and you learn in real time with real clients, real carriers, and you hit the issue button and you bind a policy, a contract, and you then protect that person's asset and they get to have peace of mind and they afford you trust. You see how this works? So this type of work has meaning. It's meaningful.
Definitely.
More meaningful than many businesses out there. And I know a lot of people that have gotten into some field and they hate life. They don't want to be in that because it has I'm thinking of certain law endeavors.
Yeah.
Where they're not finding meaning in it. You can find meaning in anything. Okay, by the way, let me get that out. But with insurance, it's innate. People affording you trust is innate.
Well, you're protecting them in essence, so it's definitely a benevolent thing.
Yes, you're protected. Yeah, protection is a wonderful thing. It's a spiritual thing. We call divine protection, right? Because your mental space now is liberated because you have a liaison that's worked out this particular thing, and you, the agent, has done that, and now that client of yours has that lightness to maneuver in life better. That's what you're doing. And that creates a set apartness, which then increases word of mouth. Others will come to you. They'll want to do business with you. And because we're a brokerage, we have a multitude of carriers, insurance companies, that distribute their contracts through us because we are a distribution company. An agency is a distribution company. And that flexibility for the consumer is awesome because we can sell cross lines. We can do other lines of business that a captive agency seldom can, whether it's, it could be things that are not so vanilla, like trucking is one that comes to mind. Trucking is really hard to write. When I say write, I mean cater to, right? But we do it. See, there's nothing we can't do. So you get the support, you get the markets, you get the technology, you get everything you need. And we're just having fun teaching this business. What sets us apart is we lead with commercial. Our competitors don't do that. We offer the dojo, which our competitors don't have, where you get to work with me, the founder, the person that made it, and you get to have that indefinitely. That's the other thing that's important. And we get to, with Fadaie, you get to sell cross lines into the 3 biggest states of the United States. That's California, Texas, Florida. That's what sets us apart. And that's why I think the Fadaie franchise is better than the Brightway and the We Insure Group and the Gooseheads. You look at our reviews. Go on Google, check out our reviews. If I was you looking in, I would look at those things. Don't look at just the mass formation that, oh, there's hundreds of people that joined this. That doesn't make it awesome alone. Where's the fiber of that? Don't let it be a quick sugar fix. Look at the reviews of that entity. How are the reviews? How is the service work? How are the franchisees getting taken care of when it comes to support and training? That's the key, folks.
Definitely.
Don't get duped just because hundreds of other people joined. That's not the only factor. That's a factor.
Yeah.
That's not the only factor. Look at the approach your investment decision based on things that are really important. How is your inventory? Can you sell cross lines? How much support and training do you actually get? Are there leads involved? What kind of leads? Those are the key things. Who am I being coached by? Those Brightways and Gooseheads, the founder is not helping you. That person's not going to be involved. I guarantee you that. It's going to be somebody else. They might be a good person. That's great. But you're not going to get that true master to student tradition training that you would get with Fadaie.
Right. And I don't think they offer leads either. We do.
We offer leads. We offer...
And we have a lead department.
We have a lead generation department, which is the holy grail of insurance. That's the hardest part to figure out, because you run out of leads really quickly when you do this. Because you're what are you going to do? Cold call all day? That's a third of your time gone. And if you do sell, who's going to service that? That's another third of your time gone. So we offer a service group to support you so you can sell more. You see, we offer lead gen, warm transfer, call on your phone a person with the intention to buy insurance. All right. And then you come to the dojo and seek help. You get that. So this is what's important. And you get the infrastructure. That's the third time suck. Infrastructure is, inventory, loss ratios, field underwriting support, commissions, chargebacks, accounts payable, accounts receivable. So these are the things, when you're considering becoming an insurance broker, nervous system, slow down, find meaning, go deeper. Consider what I'm saying. We've had 20 years experience in the business. Our franchise offer, numbers-wise, is probably going to be comparable. But what do you get for that investment? That's the key. You want to be able to get a payback period. Our payback period is 1.6 years with a $100,000 investment. That's awesome. And then if you get to see the next 9 years on our Excel sheet, once you see that, it's done. You're done. You're gonna invest in it. So take your time. I guess that's my advice.
Yeah.
Keep listening in. Feel free to call us. We can have a discussion on Zoom if you want, and go from there. Anything you want to add?
No, good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us again. We will be back next week, as we always come back, and we'll talk about spirituality. We'll talk about investment, both in the professional and in the spiritual. Talk to you soon.